Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first Ravyx Lunch and Learn. Hopefully everybody is aware of the rebrand that we just went through. So obviously previously known as STCR. We are now Ravyx, bringing together the US company and our sister Canadian company, SIR, under one roof. So moving forward, everything that you see will be greens and greens and greens and under the Ravyx name. If anybody does have questions on the rebrand, feel free to reach out to our team and we can answer any of those questions. Giving everybody another minute or two to join. Today we're going to be talking about eKiosk, and Jen is going to be leading us through some ways to use that platform within the Thriversa setup. So we'll give everybody another minute and then we will get started. All right, Jen, I've seen a couple more people come into the call. So if you are ready, you can go ahead and start whenever you want.
All right, thank you, Christina, for that introduction. As Christina stated, today's webinar, we are going to be focusing on the eKiosk. This is a newer option, an updated option that is being offered by Lock for SMS that goes along with the new Thriversa that we've been covering, that look and feel, that web-based interface. So they took the older option for kiosk and they really gave it a good, fresh update. For anybody who's unfamiliar with the kiosk option, this is meant to be a customer-facing kiosk. So this is meant for a customer to come in. They can come in and do an order. You can do specialty orders like sandwich that they may want to order from the deli counter. You can use it like for slicing your meats at your deli, so they could do like an order there, so they could have the order ready at the counter, or they could go ahead and order ahead of time to do pickup or delivery. So let me go ahead and I'm going to share, I have my screen up. So this is going to be, I'm going to show you what it looks like to the customer. So this would be the customer interface, how they would be able to walk up to the screen and be able to start an order. So first they would touch to start. First, looking at this, of course, it's all customizable. We can definitely suit this to your business needs. We can change the logo up here. You can change what this is called a carousel, or the header up here to pictures that you would like to have. And then down here, these are buttons, so these would be links. Obviously, we could change these and customize these to what you would be using this for, like if you're going to be using it at the deli counter. The deli counter, if you're going to be doing food orders like subs or sandwiches, you want to have something like that, we could do that. So all of this could really be redone to suit whatever would work for your business. So I'm just going to use a couple examples just to show you a couple different ways the customers can use this, and then we'll jump into the back end and show you how to set up the items in the back end to be able to do this. So customer would be coming up, like I said, deli counter. They would be able to go ahead and click on like deli search. This would bring them to able to select what they would like to order. So over here on the left-hand side, you can sort these out a little bit better. I have it set to go to default to deli items, but there's a few other options that maybe they could get at the deli counter. Prepared foods, bakery, cake, special orders. Maybe those could be at a different counter and you just have one kiosk so they can choose which to order, obviously. But they would be able to come up here. The pictures you can send down. You can make your own pictures and send down. If you're familiar with like the front end, the flip charts, it's similar to that idea where you can set up your pictures. So the customer will be able to come up, pick what they would like to order, how much they would like to order. So this is a field that they can come and edit. It's going to default to 1 pound, but you can come in, they could do half a pound, 1.5 pounds, whatever they would like. And then they could put any specialty instructions. So it's going to come up with a little on-screen keyboard. So maybe they want it to be thin sliced, so they could put that on here, or they want to quarter it, something like that. They could put any specialty instructions in here. Once they're done, they're going to be able to add it to their cart. The first time that they come up to here, they're going to have the selection depending on how you set up the item. So I set up my items to do both. I can just say, I want to order from the deli counter right now. So what this will do is print a slip at the deli counter. They would have a printer in the back that it would print out a slip of what this customer is ordering. It would be a suspended transaction that the customer would go up to the front end and scan. When they want to pay, they get their items and they pay. If they want to do this for a later time for pickup or delivery, they could pick the bottom one for pickup delivery. The first item that they choose is going to be where you get this option, and this item, this choice will stay through the entire transaction. So I'm just going to say to order from the deli counter, so that way it will be ready right away. And then they can go through and they can order more. They can search for items up here if they're looking for a specific item. You know, if they're looking for cheese, something like that, they can easily come in here and type that in here, or they can just use the buttons to search through whatever they're looking for. So, and then they can just add them in. Again, they can make all these changes, any specialty instruction, add to the cart. Now, since I already made the choice at the beginning for the counter, I don't make that choice again. It's going to, everything I put into this order will be at the counter. Once they're done with the transaction, they can come up here, they hit on their cart. It'll show them what they've ordered. Right here, the amount they ordered. They can make some changes here. They can update. They can throw out the item if they decided they didn't want it, and they can see their specialty instructions right there. This is good. They're fine. This is what I want to order. They can just go ahead and click place order. The way that we set up the kiosk, the eKiosk, is it will have a receipt printer built into the kiosk itself, so it will spit out a receipt for the customer. Like I said, it will be a suspended order, so it's not like they're paying at the kiosk, so that way they can just go ahead, shop for other items, and when they're ready to pay for everything, they can scan it at the front end, if that's the way you want to set it up. And in the back, the kitchen, there'll be what we call a kitchen printer. Doesn't have to be in a kitchen, and that'll print out a receipt of what they ordered at the kiosk that the people behind the deli counter now have to get ready, and then they'll get that ready and have it out for the customer when they come up to the counter. So they go ahead and click done. So the other option that you can do is, like I said, you can do an order for later. So I'll just use like the food search to just kind of give a little bit of a different option. So like you can see here, I have some delis. So if they're going to order, some subs, they wanted to order a sub, they can come in here and order a sub, add it to the cart. And because of the way that I have these items set up, it didn't come up with a choice. Oh, it's going to add it to the cart. Hold on. Go in here. I'll do a burger instead. So I wanted to show the selections. Let me go back a little bit. So they're going to do a hamburger. They can come in and do a hamburger. They can pick what they would like on it. So they're wanting to do like Swiss cheese, bacon, general toppings. They want to have like tomato and onion on there, so they can add all those modifiers on here and add it to the cart. Now, again, this didn't come up with an option because you can set it by default. They have to do this as a pickup delivery, or they get the choice, and that would be on the item itself that you would dictate it. So as soon as I clicked on this item, up here it's saying order for pickup delivery. So I can go ahead and go through and go to my cart. Now, this is a little bit of a different setup when you're doing a pickup delivery. So if I'm doing a pickup or delivery, you need to have the customer information because I'm going to come back and get this later at a later date or time. So you want to have a little bit more information. So it's going to come up with a billing address, so the customer has to enter in their billing information. So you can see first name, last name, email, phone number, address, city, state, country, zip code. And we can customize this, of course, which ones are essential fields and which ones the customer needs to fill out. You can also make it so if you have a frequent shopper program that is tied to this, so you can come up here, there is a little sign-in button, so they can sign in with their email address, and they would create a password, and they can go ahead and just click sign in. I save mine here just to save a little bit of time. And then you can click on the cart, and when I go to place the order, it'll pull all that information from the customer file, so the customer doesn't have to enter all that information in again. Then they can go to the next step, and this is where they can pick delivery or pickup. So you can set your store to be one or the other. If you don't have a delivery option, that's fine. We can just set it to be pickup only. And it would just only show a pickup option in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do pickup. And then down here, This is customizable as well. You can customize how many dates to show in advance and what time slots. So it would just be a scheduled task that runs every night that updates this so that the next day available. So if you want to have 7 days available, the task runs overnight and it will go to tomorrow. It'll show the next 7 days and the next 7 days. So I did 3 days for my pickup. So I'm just going to say I'm going to come in Saturday. And at my lab, I have set up to go every hour, starting at 9 a.m., ending at 4 p.m., so the customer can just select the time. You can also set like a max number of how many pickups you can have in a certain time or deliveries, same way. So if you wanted to cut off after a little bit, you can. So now I have that all set for Saturday at 1 p.m. I go to my next step, and they can then take payment. You can put a card number in, or you can do a charge my account. So this way, the customer can just charge their account and come and pay later with whatever payment method they would like to do. This is the preferred method right now to do that, so that way that it's just a house charge. You can set a limit for how much they can house charge, and then that way the customer can come in and pay with anything. They can pay with debit, credit, cash, check. They can pay off their balance however they would like later. So they can. I'm just going to do charge to my account and do next step. Validate the information right there. Yep, that's my name. That's my pickup. That's the time I said, and then they can go ahead and place their order. It'll spit out a receipt for the customer, and it will also print out a sales order for them to go ahead and look at in the back to go make that order when it's due. Few other quick things just to show you on the front end before I switch over to the item maintenance and how it looks on the back side. You can have customers come up and they can log in right from here. They can log into their account, but they can also register. So if it's going to be something that you're doing pickup and delivery, so you want to get a little bit more information from the customers and you don't want to have them fill out that information, first name, last name, address, all of that, they can actually come up to the kiosk and they can register and create a new customer account. So you can do first name, obviously you see first name, last name, cell phone, phone number, email address, and then this is where they can set up the password. And this will create a customer account in the back, and you would be able to go in there and control if you want them to do house charges, how much of a house charge, just like you are right now. If you're familiar with the customer program, it's linked to the risk levels, and we can default it to allow a little bit, whatever preference you would like. But this is a really convenient feature that allows the customer to be able to make their own frequent shopper card, which just makes it a little bit easier for them to store all their information. The other thing that is nice is that once they do create these, they can also log in later. So like I said, I saved all my login information. So it'll come up here. They can actually edit any information later on. So the customer can actually come in here and see what information. So they can see their address, their preferences, like if they have any preferred like food preferences, pickup notes, anything they always want to have in there. Loyalty cards, or they can see their points history. They can also look at their transaction history in here. It's very convenient for the customer, and that way they can, even if they're not ordering anything, they can access all this information. And then the last thing before I switch to the back is anything that you're seeing, if you don't want to have this at the kiosk, you don't want to have the customers be able to sign up at the kiosk, we can remove that button, so it's not something they can do. They have to put the information. Maybe you only want to use the kiosk for customers to sign up, and we can remove all the information and the ability to order items, or they could just view items. So there's a lot of different ways you can go with this. So switching to the back end, I'm just going to go ahead and switch my tabs here to go into Triversa. And the way that this works on the back end is how you wanted to have those items show up and what options you would like to do is all going to be part of your item maintenance if this is a kiosk, if the kiosk is something you would like to implement. So over here, I'm just going to go into my item master. And most of this is going to be tied to your POS information. That's where you can actually control what those options are that I showed you about pickup and delivery and at the counter. So I'm just going to go into the POS information for now. Obviously, any other information like price information will just go down with regular maintenance and descriptions, all of that for the items. But this specifically is where you're going to look for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and execute my POS information and show you where you can look at that. So I'm going to go into, you can go ahead and look at one of our items. We'll just pick on bananas. I always pick on bananas. Go into our master table for POS master, and we would set this up with you over which ones you would like to have the options for. But the way that they are going to be tied in to which options are delivery and which options have pickup delivery, which options are at the counter, is going to actually be right here under ticket. So we would have this be a drop-down menu, so you can see PRN1, rain are the options right now. So I'm going to switch over a little bit, and this is a little confusing. We would set this up in the back for you, but this would be where we're going to set them up. If you're pointed to PRN1, you would have order, it would be a deli, it's order from the deli counter. Food B means you get both choices. Food T means you get delivery and pickup. So we would go over and set up PRN1, PRN2, PRN3 in that way, and we would tell you which one each one means. So this is delivery only, this is pickup only, this is pickup and delivery and at the counter, whichever ones that you would like, or if you're only doing at the counter, you don't have to do one. And you would just tie it to the item right here, and that would be where you get those options from. So this would be really the additional piece that you would want to have to be able to order items at the kiosk. So that way you can order them from the counter or order them for pickup delivery. It's an additional piece of information. If you're looking like at the items that I showed where you're seeing that you can have like the modifier. So like if you're looking to have like that kind of setup where you can have the modifiers pop up, like when I did the hamburger, that would be the modifier table. Now you can actually go into that in any of the different items that are in here. You would just come in, you don't have to go into the POS master, you can go under price master or cost master. It's actually going to be a specialty window. So you're just going to go into your item maintenance and go here, you're going to see your specialty, and you're going to go into modifier. And that will open up your modifier table. And this would be where you can control what the different modifiers pop up. So like with the hamburgers, when I did the hamburger order, you have the choice of pink, no pink, you have the choice of the toppings, you have the choice of cheese, whatever those choices are, you would come up with those modifiers to the item, and you would have this, okay, this is all the items that they would pop up here. This is all the items we would pop up there. And we would go through, show you how to set up the items, set up the modifiers so that they pop up, and they are either what we call compulsory or, they're either going to be compulsory or extra. So they have to choose one, or they can choose one. So that's the difference with that. So you can set all of that up and control all of that right here at each item level. So with that being said, Christina, did we have any questions come in?
Yes. Do the images come with the lock item files?
Not by default, no. The only ones that we provide with the lock is we do provide like a package of produce items. So if there's any additional ones that you would like to add, it's actually something you would want to go out and you'd find those. It's a very small image file. You would just find the image of what you would like to use. You drop it into a specific folder. You just have to name it to the UPC number. You drop it into the bitmaps folder, and then it will deploy down to both the kiosk and the lanes actually can both use the picture. So it is actually something on the customer to the store to provide the pictures. So that kind of assist in setting it up.
Perfect. Okay. All right, that was the only question that came in. Does anybody have any additional questions they want to throw in the chat quick? Okay, I don't have any more coming in at the moment. So if anybody does have any follow-up questions on this, please feel free to reach out to our help desk. They will be more than happy to answer any questions, help you through any issues you guys are having. Other than that, I think we're good to go. Next month, we will be doing our webinar on, let's see, the 24th of July. So if anybody is interested in that one, we'll be sending out some communications there. Other than that, Jen, I think we're good to go for today.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.